If you haven't been living under a rock, you probably know that this guy, Sam Ovens, started this company called Skool, then partnered with this guy, Alex Ramosi, to market the heck out of it. And both of them mentioned that it's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity because of how it will revolutionize education in the entire world. However, what I'm here to discuss is the fact that both of these people, Sam Ovens and Hormozi, they actually had very successful business ventures in the past. Hormozi scaled Gym Launch, as an example, to 8 figures in revenue per year, and Sam Ovens actually did the same thing with Consulting.com. The question is, how did these people actually get to the stage of making that much impact in business and start tackling this huge goal? What methods did they use? And the one that I want to talk about in particular is actually the War Map. Here's a preview. That is a tool that Sam Ovens actually created, so credit to him. And he swears by, he attributes a lot of his success to the ability of this tool to show him a macro and micro just idea of what he needs to do to achieve his goals. And if you stick around in this video, I'll explain the whole tool to you. We've actually updated it for the current year because it needs to be updated. And if you keep watching, again, I'll go more in depth into it now. Welcome to the War Map. I did not make this. However, we did update it for this year because the dates do vary, the days do vary. But this thing is so damn good that we actually use it ourselves. I do, my business partner does, and we use it for every single one of our clients to help them achieve business goals in half the time. And the reason why it's so damn good is because it gives you a bird's eye view on your entire year. A lot of you guys might be writing out your daily tasks, and that might be structured. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even do that. But for a lot of you, when you look or when you think in quarterly terms, if I ask you this question, what are your goals for the end of the quarter? You have very generic and non-specific goals, right? Or you don't have any goals at all. If I ask you what are your goals, for the second quarter, for the third quarter, for the fourth quarter, you're even more clueless, right? So the War Map is essentially made to give you structure. And what we've seen is that this is such a high impact, high ROI tool. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to set up, but if you actually stick to this, you will see such outsized returns in your business and your productivity. It's crazy. Like I can have two entrepreneurs, one uses the War Map, one doesn't. Same goals, same information, same intelligence. I bet you the one who uses the War Map will achieve his goals at least in 1/3 of the time. That's how good this thing is. So thank you, Sam Ovens. Anyways, I'm going to give you a very quick tutorial on how to use this. Again, another benefit of it is that it helps you think in decades, right? A lot of you people are thinking in days. You need to think in decades, right? So there's this quote that goes, a lot of people overestimate what they can get done in a day, but underestimate what they can get done in a decade. The problem is a lot of people don't even think in decades. When you look at this War Map, you see, oh my God, my entire year is this many pixels right here. This is your entire year, right? This is all it is. If this is all your year is, right, that's not a lot of time. Like, look, you have like this task, I'll show you more in a second, but this is your year. You can start thinking in decades. Like, yeah, this is this year, then the next War Map is the next year, so on and so forth. But just to give you more of an understanding of the War Map, you have essentially 3 months per quarter. Then you have every single quarter, you have the goals right here. And then you have this key, right? This is, again, one of multiple sub sheets within this Google Sheet. There's a document. You can actually get the template in the description below. But basically, if you have vacation, for example, and you want to take a vacation at the beginning of every quarter, which is what Sam Ovens does, 5-day vacation at the end of every quarter. That's not something I personally do, full transparency. But if that's what you want to do, if you're not available for Christmas, if you're not available for Eid, if there's any other religious holiday or birthday or whatever, you want to, I don't know, mark out your birthday or somebody else's birthday or your, I don't know, I guess you can't really predict when your kids are being born, but whatever the hell it is, try to put it on here, right? Try to put on days off, right? Or time with family. Mark it off so that you understand that this much of my year is going to this task. It's not a bad thing, but you need to keep it in mind. You need to visualize it. Second thing, again, I tried to make this more relatable for people just starting out because, a lot of people that are just starting out are learning outreach, starting outreach, building their cold outbound systems, and trying to scale their messages and their posts. This is just, very general, specific advice. But if you're further out, if you want to hire a media buyer, grow your sales team, if you want to, I don't know, automate your, process, whatever. I'm just thinking of random things. You put all of those things in here. Then what you do is you actually paste or you type out these things. Let's say I want to start outreach or I want to learn outreach. I want to learn outreach first, outreach. Then I want to start outreach, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I attribute a certain color to this, and then I devote time throughout the week for this. A lot of people make a mistake of either devoting too little time or too much time. You want to write out more specific things that are actually, included in learning outreach in these other sheets. I'll get into that in a second. But just to give you a general idea, you basically allocate certain colors to certain tasks, right? If you want to start outreach within the next 5 days, you again allocate this color and then you do this and then you do this. Again, just very general example, right? And then that way you just have a general idea of your entire year. Now, one thing which is very important, you want to have empty days because you cannot just foresee how long something will take. Again, you can try to be as particular and as correct as possible. There's ways to do that, but you will not always be on time. Some things will take earlier than normal. Then what the hell are you going to do? Let's say, you want to start outreach. It only takes you 3 days. What the hell are you going to do for the next 2 days? Just waste those 2 days? Like, you only have a certain amount of days in the year, right? It's a numbers game. So you want to be as understanding as possible when setting these goals, but you also want to have some empty just days, right? Where you can either allocate new tasks that come in or you can work on the next task in that time, but you never want to be too short, right? It's always better to be longer than shorter because then let's say, I learn outreach quickly, I start outreach even quicker. At the end of the quarter, I will be ahead. If I allocate less time than I need to, I will be behind. And then my entire year is going to be, I don't want to use bad language, right? But you understand the gist. So you'd rather be shorter, right? You'd rather allocate more time than less time. So just understand that. Again, quarterly goals, set those out and make sure that you are, again, being relatively specific. We will get into more specificities because this actually has a month-on-month setting, right? Or month-on-month sheets. And we'll get into that in just a second. But first, we have to go into the RICE objective scoring, right? So this is, again, part of the warm up. Essentially, what you do is you take all of these tasks that you have, right? And then you paste them here. I think I messed it up, but whatever, right? You basically, let's say, what is the impact going to be of learning outreach, right? Actually, we can couple both of these into one, right? Learning outreach and starting outreach, right? And this is just individual outreach, right? This is why it's so important to be specific, right? So I'm learning outreach and I'm starting outreach. How many people can I reach? Let's say within a month, within a year, right? If you're thinking month-wise, let's say you send out 30 messages a day, 30 times 30, 900. We'll just put in 900. What's the impact going to be? And by the way, if you have, what is it called? Some confusion on what this means, like you can actually just put over it, right? You just hover over it or click on it and it'll tell you, it'll give you a description, right? The impact, is it going to be massive? Maybe if you're starting out, you're making $0, right? And having, reaching out to 900 people, you convert like a few people, whatever, we'll make it high, right? So we'll do 2x, right? Or we'll make the impact, or we'll write out high. Right here, high. So that's what happens. High. So what happens? There we go. Okay, so it's a number system. I have the older one, which my guy made, so I have to type in the word, but whatever it is. Effort, again, how many hours it will take for you to get this done, right? This is actually a very high effort thing to do, like where you learn and start outreach, but it's one of the things you kind of have to do. But we'll say if you're talking in the month, it'll take you about like 60 hours a week, 7, 14, 21, 4 weeks. So 50 times 4, that's 200 hours, right? How confident are you about these estimates, right? I would say like about 80%, right? And then it gives you a rice score. So you can put all of your tasks in here, right? And then you can basically just break them up and you'll get a rice score. Based on that score, you want to, again, have a certain order or priority to the tasks that you do. You want to do the highest impact tasks first if it's possible, right? Now, of course, you can't build a cold outbound system without learning outreach. But if this has a higher rice score than this, and by the way, this is a very objective measuring stick, right? You can't just be like, oh, I had such a large impact. You're not tracking any metrics, right? Again, this is an estimate, but the more confident you can be, the better. It's still better than nothing. Right, so this objective scoring method should dictate what you do in what order. Then you can dedicate a month, right? January, February, March, April, right? And then you can have a start date and an end date, right? So this is, again, when you decide to start it, when you decide to finish it. Once you do all of this for the entire year or for one quarter, what I recommend is doing it per quarter, right? And then seeing, okay, once you map everything out per month, it actually gives you a better idea, because sometimes you need to allocate more time, allocate less time, whatever, right? But you want to have a start date and a finish date, whatever. Moving on, this is, again, the micro. So again, learning outreach, starting outreach, building cold outbound system, get to 800 messages per month, get to 300 posts per month, right? This is going to be your micro, right? This is going to be your micro on a more micro scale, right? So this is per month. Every single month, as you see, has its own sheet, and every quarter is separated via color. What you want to do is you want to have daily tasks, 5 daily tasks at most, right? A success list that will show how successful you are for the day, right? So for example, the things that I have written out here is, if you want to learn outreach, you have notes like, what can I do to learn outreach? Buy a course, consume free media online. I don't know. What else can you do to learn outreach? Do the outreach maybe, but I guess that's part of the starting. Once you're starting outreach, where can you do the outreach? Maybe, I don't know, YouTube comments, although that is a pretty scammy place. Thank you, X person, for giving me a 99% return. That's usually what you see in YouTube comments. But, wherever the hell you want to start outreach, one-on-one outreach, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Skool, LinkedIn, you write that in the notes, right? Then you go up based on what you wrote out before, right? What is my start date? What is my end date? You allocate certain days for this task, and then you're like, okay, what's the first step I can take? What's the second step I can take, right? What's the third step I can take? What's the fourth step? And then you just keep going, right? Now, what Sam Ovens likes to do, and what we advise every single one of our clients to do, is highlight the day. So if it's Monday, January 1st, you highlight the day, right? I have task 2, just as an example. I have task 3. I have task 4, whatever. You have all these tasks. Let's say you get the first task and the third task done. Then what you want to do is you want to copy this and you want to paste this, move it to the next day, and then delete it from here, right? Copy this, move it up here, delete this. So you know where you're at. Now, let's say that it is January 2nd. You want to, again, remove this highlighting, move here, highlight this current day, and bam. That way you know exactly where you are, what you're missing, what you've done, and what you will do, right? And then let's say you finish outreach and then just use the strikeout feature. Using the strikeout feature is very, very important, right? So again, this is a tool that you can use every single day to devote, again, at maximum 5 tasks. Why is it at maximum 5 tasks? We actually tried changing this, right? We tried changing it to 8. It did not work out, right? Maybe Sam Ovens knew this, but a lot of our clients were telling us, well, this is, 5 tasks are too little. Your focus can only be divided so much. That's what we've learned, right? So you want to have a success list. Yes, you might have, a to-do list for the day where you have 30 items or something, but keep that there. You just want to have the highest impact, most important tasks, right? Up to 5 here, right? And those should be related to business. It can't be life. It can't be this, can't be that. If you want to make a war map of your life, get another, like just make a copy, right? Make unlimited copies, whatever. So that is essentially how it goes. Again, you want to use this for every single month. And like I said before, it has it, there's specific days for specific, specific days of the week for specific years. So if you're watching this a year later, we'll probably have updated it. But again, this is a very beneficial tool. There's nothing more I have to say other than just the fact that if you are going to start this, make sure you actually use it, because a lot of people are, let me show you this actually, right? This is very important. A lot of people are motivation based. If you're motivation based, you're either at a crest or a trough. You're either at the top, at the bottom, or going in one of those directions. If you are closer to a peak, you'll probably download this and you'll make the best damn war map in the world, and then you'll never use it when you're at a crest. If you're at a bottom, if you're at a low, or if you're going on the decline, you're probably never going to download this. You're never going to click on the link in the description, and you'll never actually get to starting it, right? And then you'll probably just eventually end up like just end your business, or decide to switch niches, or get shiny object syndrome and say, oh, now I'm going to start an AI agency. Then I'm going to start a SaaS company. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do that. And then the whole cycle is going to start again, right? What you want to be is you want to be discipline based. This is actually the biggest problem that we try to solve. We try to make people, discipline based from motivation based. But if you want to do it on your own, just understand this very important concept. This is the life cycle of any goal. This is what you want, whether it's location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, A freedom, B freedom, C freedom. In the beginning, you are in a state of uninformed optimism. You love it. You're like, oh my God, AI agency, I'm going to make $69 million every single second. Wow. Then you start becoming pessimistic. You probably quit around here. This is when you switch niches. This is when you switch businesses. This is probably when you quit, right? This is when you quit a certain task and move on to the next if you're sticking to one business, right? Oh, building cold outreach system is too hard. I'm going to move to paid ads, right? If you don't fail there, a lot of you fail here, right? A lot of you fail here. What is the similarity? You see the red dot here? There's a red dot here. There's a red dot here, right? You actually quit right before you're about to achieve that informed optimism. You're like, okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of this, right? And then you actually get to achievement. This is also a psychological phenomenon called the Dunning-Kruger effect. You can look at it right here, right? Confidence versus competence, right? When you're in the beginning, you're like, wow, this is going to work. It's so amazing. I'm going to start paid ads and make shitloads of money, right? And then as you get more competent, you're like, shit, no, it's too hard. And then either on this decline or somewhere around here, you quit. Right? What you want to do is you want to stick it out and actually wait until you're here, until you're an expert, and then you will see returns, right? But if you want this war map, the only thing I'll advise you to do is actually use it and actually stick to it. If you want, we can help you make it. But for now, there is a link at the top of the description, as I mentioned before, where you can click on it, and then you'll get a template which you can make a copy with, and then just start your, and it'll be completely blank, completely free, by the way, right? You can have it for completely free, and you can go ahead and start this.